Diego Cordovez with Adam Schoenfeld from Bellagio with the scoop. And poker's making it big, creating these personalities. We need these very low-key, reserved personalities like you to really gather in the fan interest.
Today's guest is even more reserved than I am.
Yeah.
We're going to have to really work hard to draw him out. He won't, he'll give yes and no answers. He's a very knowledgeable player, but we're going to have to really...
What's tough about doing the show sometimes is that we really have to prod and pull out the guests. A lot of them are very closed, very low-key. And today, Adam, I'm counting on you to try to pull out a little...
I'm from the East Coast. Nick Frangos is from the East Coast, so I think we're going to bond and we're going to get some good stuff.
Nick is a guy who people have now seen on TV in some of the ESPN coverage, and he's a very good player. But a lot of people might not really know him because he's always been a cash game player. Who's
he's
now
a superstar cash game winner.
But he's a guy with a big rep in the cash games who hasn't played a lot of tournaments and really started to make his mark.
The ones he plays in, you know about him.
He started to make a mark. So, Nick, you've been a successful high-stakes player for a while. Especially the stud games, you've got a good rep in stud and stud 8, Omaha 8.
Nick's a legend back east.
Yeah.
I heard about him before I heard about him.
Yeah, me too. And then you started playing the tournaments because now the tournaments are so big, so much money in them. You had a second in a stud event here that's going to be on TV, I understand.
Right.
And played a bunch of events, unfortunately out of the main event. But are you just beat now after being here a month and a half? What was the whole experience like?
Well, what happened, I came late. My cousin got married, and the older I get, I start putting family before poker. It used to be the opposite, and it's just not right. Friends come and go, women come and go, but family's forever. I just decided that I had to put my priorities straight. It's a wedding. It's not an anniversary or birthday. It's a wedding. You know what I mean?
Hopefully it only comes once.
Right.
Hopefully a one-time deal.
If it does or it doesn't, it's irrelevant. I got to be there. You know what I mean? It's my cousin. So I was there. And that was like on the 7th or the 8th. And I could have came and left, but I have a really bad back. You know what I mean? Between the last World Series and now, I've had 2 epidural shots. So that's what they give pregnant women. 2 7. They put me to sleep. 2 7-inch needles. I mean, it's no joke. I mean, I have a really bad back.
And the chairs at Harrah's are not the most comfortable.
I double stack. I double stack, and it's still not comfortable. And I'm due back when I get back home to see one of the best neurologists in the business in New York City. He sees if he can do, but I have a torn ligament with 2 protruding and a herniated disc. I mean, I'm in really bad shape.
That's no joke. That's no joke.
No, it's not. And that's why I'm losing more weight. My back doctor told me to get down to 200 pounds, and I was like, I was at 360.
You were huge.
Yeah, I was 360.
You're like a half now.
Yeah. So now I'm at like 220. You know what I mean? When he told me to lose the weight, I was at 240. And I was really happy at 240,
Well, fortunately, you've had the results to pay for all these procedures. Medical care is expensive.
I have health insurance in my business. I mean, after I had my first big year as I became a pro, I came out to California and I had a bad month, right? It really put me to earth. You know what I mean? I got nervous. I mean, I still had a lot of money. I only lost 20% of my bankroll, but I went back town. And when I was growing up, I used to hang out in the pool hall. And, your childhood dreams to own it. And I did. I bought my pool hall.
You bought
Yeah.
It's a big pool hall here.
Yeah. It's 10,000 square feet. It's in White Plains, New York. It's called Executive Billiards. 10,000 square feet. Got about 25 tables, food, beer, arcades. You know what I mean? It's a real nice place.
I like that you've got it the right way. Usually, guys develop a successful business, make a lot of money, then they come out and they just gamble it all. You gamble, won, and now you invested it in
right. And then I bought 2 buildings, 6 families each. My dad was running at the time. When real estate boomed, we sold them both. You know what I mean? But I mean, at the time, I gave myself security, and I found it much easier to play poker.
You're leveraging the poker, which is the way to do it.
Right.
So you got something to fall back on, even if you have terrible 6 months, which is probably unlikely, but that can happen.
Right. And then, I mean, I've been broke 100 times in my life before I had $10,000. And when I had $10,000, I quit my job, and I've never been broke since. I might get cash short, but I've never been broke.
Right.
I mean, now, I have tons of equity on my house. I have a business that's paid for. I just re-signed a 10-year lease on my building. I mean, you know what I mean? If I get cash short, I could take 3 months off, and then come back with a decent-sized bankroll to play,
right.
you know, just from the business. So I look at it as a safety blanket.
So you finished second in that stud.
Right.
Well, just give us a little brief on that tournament. Who'd you get heads up with?
I started a tournament short. You know, I was like in 6th or 7th out of the 8. You know what I mean?
At the final table.
Yeah. Right, yeah. I get pretty lucky. I mean, I get my first hand I play up, I have a jack up. Ben Cohen raises with a king. I got pocket 5s. So I'm going to go to 5th Street. You know what I mean? Let me gamble. I never seen his hand, but he tells me he has an ace. It makes aces. Mm-hmm. I hit a 10. So now you know, he's got ace king, but I got, you know, I take one off. If I hit a deuce or a 3, I don't take one off.
Right.
But now there's a card. If he hits a deuce or a 3 and I hit paint, I'm getting a free one.
Yeah.
Here I spike off the 5. So I get to pop him on 5, and then on 6 he makes open 6s. I get to pop him again, and then he's got 12-5 left, and it's $12,000 bet, and there's 190 in there, and he laid it down. I mean, he made a great fold.
That's a good part.
Yeah, he made a great fold. I mean, he still like came in 8th or something, but he still made a great fold, and that got me going. And like, you know, with 4 people left, I had about half the chips, and I mean, I really thought it was my, you know, my turn to win the bracelet. I've been in that spot many times. Mm-hmm. Mostly in limit hold'em or no limit hold'em.
Right.
This was my first time. It's in my best game, and you know, there's still good players left.
Jeff Lissandra was the main competition there,
and Daniel, but Daniel was out.
Also, right.
Yeah.
But of the final 3 or 4 guys, Jeff Lissandra.
Right, and he was short stacked, and he raised with like ace deuce 3 or ace deuce 4. He made 4s and 3s on my 10s. And then he beats another guy that's got like 2 kings or 2 queens. He started with no pair and made jacks up. I mean, so he got really lucky to get the chip. And then I took the chip lead like immediately. He had the chip lead. I took it like immediately. Uh-huh. Then he rolls off like 17 out of the next 20 hands. Like Annie steals and stuff. I don't think I played my best when we got heads up. But we're playing 15 and 30,000 with 840 in play. I mean, it's a joke.
Yeah. Especially in stud where there's 5
betting
big
rounds.
bets.
Right.
You know, people play hold'em. It's much worse than stud when the blinds get up there.
All the limit tournaments, I think, were run really bad. I really do. No limit. People do take care of themselves. Like I played the 2000 or 15, the 2000 that I cashed.
Uh-huh.
There was 2,100 people. 2,028 to be exact.
The whole room.
In 4 hours, 1,500 people were out.
Right.
So they're not scared of no limit to give you play.
Yeah.
And limit, they're petrified. God forbid that we should take up their precious time and they can't run more satellites and run more live games and make more money.
And we're using their tables for their cash
right,
games, right?
Exactly. And I think it's totally unfair.
Well, yesterday at the main event, we were just talking about the fact that no limit hold'em really should be played 9-handed. I mean, 10-handed is a major
problem.
Difference. And the skill factor really is mitigated. And they were just running all 10-handed tables. I called the floorman over. I said, why don't we just pull a seat out, play 9-handed? They're like, no, that's the way we're doing it. And it was because they just wanted to run a bunch of live games. And we are playing the main event.
Right.
And we've got live games going at the table right next to us.
Right. A friend of mine called me today, right, the guy that I was on the phone with, and he said to me, Nick, they gave me an option of either playing in the pavilion or playing tomorrow. Right. And I thought the whole idea of adding another day was for nobody to play in the pavilion. Yeah. And now they got the guys playing in the pavilion.
It's a tent, and it's 115 degrees outside.
I mean, that's not fair.
I mean,
you make up your mind.
You put up 10 dimes, and they put you in a tent.
I mean, make up your mind. You added another day. You change everybody's schedule for one reason. For people not to play in the tent, and now you're putting people in the tent? I mean, that's not right. I feel it's unfair.
We've already had guys having heart attacks and stuff, and for older guys, it's really not a joke for guys who aren't in great shape, because I played 2 events in the tent, and
it goes from very hot to very cold.
Yeah, the air conditioning went out. They've got a generator there that's been going in and out.
I can't even imagine. So, it's like 120.
And this is for...
you're playing for millions of dollars. You put up 10 dimes in the championship. Yeah. That's not nothing.
Well, listen, I put up 50,000 in the horse. And I think it's unfair that the people putting up 5,000 got 100 big bets and we got 80.
Right.
I mean, you know, and we had an hour level just like them. And it doesn't count for Player of the Year points. I can't understand some of the decisions they're making. And this year I heard they involved a lot of players in the decision making. I think they got the wrong players. They got all the rich guys, all the guys that like to play high. They need to form some committee with some guys that, you know, that don't, I mean, I understand they're not named players, but that don't play as high. like Umberto, for instance. I mean, he's not a high limit player. He's a great tournament player, and I'm sure he'd have a lot to add. And he would be more on the side of the players that don't have as much money. But you're letting Howard and the rich guys make all the decisions. It's unfair.
Yeah, but I think those guys want good structure as much as anybody. The other stuff, the other non-poker issues, I don't know how that came down.
They do, but
they want. I mean, you talk to Daniel or Howard or these guys.
They do, but they messed it up. But they messed it up. Somehow they messed it up.
I think Harris didn't listen to the players. On some things they did, but on a lot of things they didn't.
We start with 10,000 and the 5,000, whatever it was, no limit. No, horse.
Right. The 5K.
And we're playing 25-50 or something like the 15-100. Well, it's a wasted limit. I'm not asking them to add limits. I'm telling them to just rearrange and keep it the same amount of limits.
And then it starts doubling. One complaint I had with, first of all, with the Players Committee, my intuition is that the guys on that did a good job as far as presenting all the issues and asking for things.
Right.
And then Harris just did whatever they wanted to do anyway.
I tell you what.
They have no power over Harris.
I think everybody loves the double chips, but I think it's a mistake.
Well, yeah, it doesn't.
It totally ruins tradition. Okay?
Yeah. It was always
dollar for dollar. Yeah. You know what you stand. Okay? And what they did pretty much was give you double chips and screw you up on the levels.
Yeah.
I mean, why not give us dollar for dollar and give us dollar for red chips? I mean, what are they so scared of? I mean, if it takes, they're all 3-day events.
For people that aren't out there playing in the main event, they gave double chips and they made a big deal about this. And then yesterday we played.
We started 15-100.
It used to be 25-50, now we started 50-100.
So what's the difference?
The fourth level used to be 100-200 with a 25. Now it's 200-400 with a 50.
Exactly.
So
here's my point.
Everything has been doubled. But what people don't know is the first day was the same. In the second and third day, they've taken levels out.
Exactly.
So it used to be that once you get by the first day, you can start playing.
Then you start playing.
You didn't have that same pressure. And people are going to feel the pressure because there's a couple of levels, some key levels they've pulled out.
They go from 4-8 to 6 and 12,000. 5 and 10,000 is not only easier structure to play, but it's a crucial structure. You're going up 50%.
That's a key point.
Right. At very late.
Yeah.
But it's also, in the limits, it's so easy to play.
Right.
So now, instead of playing an easy structure, they go to make it a harder structure. It just makes it's nonsense. They're at it to make the most money possible.
In the shortest amount of time.
And it's just not fair. I mean, they're not even making their own bracelets anymore. Quorum is. Not that I'm begrudging them for making money from Quorum, but a World Series bracelet is supposed to be a World Series bracelet, not a Quorum band watch. I mean, that's what it is. I mean, it says World Series, but it's a Quorum band watch.
I have no problem with Harris making money, and I have no problem with Harris making a lot of money, but they are the guardian of this tradition,
right?
And they don't have to be piggish and get all the money this year.
It's
make
exactly
money over
what they're
20
doing.
years.
Exactly what they're doing.
Thinking about the long term, and actually in the long term they'll make even more money.
Of course they are.
And the thing is, the one complaint that I never bring up is how much money they make, because if you don't like it, don't play.
Right.
So
it's their right.
We were playing.
Yeah, they could charge.
Right.
We were playing.
But the juice, I think, is unfair because of all the money they're making. They shouldn't hire it. They could lower it. They could.
Well, but to me, it's like if they can get it. But
yeah,
make good decisions.
But
so
we should have
if they could get it.
If they had the structures, I wouldn't care about the money.
The best ranked tournament in the country is the Commerce.
Yeah,
because they're poker first, and they give you a ton of play.
See, and they're thinking smart because they give you a little more play, and everyone's happy. And now they get twice as many people staying in their hotel.
Exactly.
So that's the thing that I have. It's like if they can get 12%, get it. Why not? But on the other hand, if they're not making right decisions about the tournaments, then people are going to say, you know what, next year I'm not going to play these events.
I mean, a lot of guys. I heard a lot of the pros claim that they're going to strike.
Yeah.
And one even asked me because I'm like, semi on the line where they put my name. They keep track of my stats. Yeah. Would I cross the line? I mean, what are they doing for me that I wouldn't cross the line?
Right.
I mean, they'll make a name out of anybody with the non-top pros there. A second tier guy which we all discuss this, it's like 1%,
Right.
could win 3 bracelets, and all of a sudden he's a superstar. So they don't need us.
Guys,
you know, I mean, they don't need us.
Guys that nobody ever heard of 2 years ago are stars.
Superstars.
Exactly.
You can make anyone a star. Have a big tournament, have them win.
You win the main event.
$300.
I mean,
You're a star.
there's a few guys that won the main event, and I don't want to name names. I don't want to say anything, but they're stars, and they're one-hit wonders. You know,
can make Adam into a star.
Yeah, that might be hard.
no, you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, of course.
I mean, you run great, and you win the main event. You're not only, but here's the sick part. Not only do you get like the 11 million, but then everybody and their mother is going to give you everything for free, give you all these deals. So you don't even need you can pretty much donate the buy-in, and you don't have to worry. I mean, donate. I mean, whatever you get paid,
you're going to make twice
and
that.
you're going to make whatever you know.
That's what we're trying to do, for sure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we're going to hold on and do that.
You guys are both in still?
Yeah,
Good for you.
we played yesterday.
Happy to hear that. You guys didn't run into set over set though.
Yeah, that's
Hard
the
fold.
That's
It was a hand that was very weirdly played. I was explaining to the guy who drove me here.
I think
Guy, it's the first hand the guy plays. He just gets moved here. It's the
Right.
second or third hand. Guy limps, playing 15 to 100. He makes it 300.
also the first level.
Yes, he makes it 300. I'm in a little blind with 2 queens.
Yep.
I just call.
Okay.
Let's see the flop. You know, we
Yeah.
have a lot of chips.
I
We have
like
a lot
that.
of play.
No reason out of position to get
Right.
crazy.
Ace 3 queen. I
Oh
lead
my
at
God.
it. I lead at it. Now the guy pops me.
Yeah.
The last hand in the world I give him is 3 aces.
Right. You
He
figure.
got- so he got me. You
Ace
know what I
king,
mean?
ace queen.
I mean, if I played, I might have been able to play it differently if
no.
I re-raised before the flop. But if there's but if I see the flop, I'm going broke.
Right.
You know what I mean? I'm just saying, if I re-raise and he goes all in.
The way
you
you
know.
played it, which is, I think, I don't want to say right, but it's certainly a right way to play it, and I like that style as well. You got to go broke there.
I just decided that day one I wasn't going to gamble. You know, I was.
Right.
You know what
You
I mean?
had
There was no
middle set
reason
of
to.
queens.
I mean, no. I didn't consider putting my money in gambling.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, I'm just saying that's why I just called him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see a flop with 2
We
queens.
talked-
Everybody overvalues them. You know what I mean?
We talked the day before the event started about how the first day there was no reason to just put all your money in pre-flop and gamble when you don't need to.
Exactly.
When people are dying,
Like
give
I
you their
said,
chips afterwards.
with ace king.
But this scenario is the one that can just catch
Right.
you.
Yeah. No. I mean, I have no qualms about it. It's like I said, it's like it was meant to be. I'd rather be out in 2 hours than in 52 hours with no money. You know, I mean, I have no qualms with
happens.
going out that way. I'm not upset about getting my money in that way. I mean, I have like no qualms about the whole
See,
situation.
the thing is, if you go out that way, then you have no regrets. A couple
Right.
of years ago, 2 years ago, I raised with aces. I got re-raised. I re-raised. I got moved in on. I called. I lost. Well, no second
God
thoughts.
bless you. Right.
Now last year I tried to move on a guy that didn't work,
Right.
and then I thought maybe it was the right move, maybe it wasn't. You know, I thought it over in my mind. I asked other players what they thought,
Right.
and then you second guess yourself, but you can't second guess
I,
yourself in this situation.
2 years ago, because last year I didn't play because my back was really acting up on me. I flew back home, you know what I mean? It's before I started getting the shots and I started chiropractor. Now, I mean, I'm getting better, but my back still hurts. And I literally laid down jacks like 4 or 5 times before the flop. You know what I mean? And a hand comes down. I'm playing with the guy for 2 days, and he raises in the 1 hole. I re-raise, he re-raises. I show 2 kings. He shows me 2 aces. Right? So I'm playing it like great. Now I get small blind against big blind, and the flop comes. I have king jack, and it comes king jack queen, and I go broke with king jack after folding kings before the flop, and it's my fault. It was an internet player, and I moved in on the flop, and he had queen 10, and I mean he had a pair went up and down. Now, if I wait for the turn, which he missed,
Right.
I might get him to fold, and even if he calls, I got my money in right.
Now
you know what I
you're a
mean?
huge favorite on the
Right,
top.
exactly,
It's close, you know.
exactly. I should have known better. You know, that was still in my infancy of playing no limit tournaments. You know what I mean?
Well, that's one interesting thing about you is that you were definitely known as a stud player, and that's the majority of your income. You started playing a lot of these circuit events, and you really made some scores in no limit.
Yeah,
And,
I mean,
started to
I've
play
won a
the
no
game.
limit. I've won a limit hold'em event. I've actually haven't won a stud event. I mean, when I do get my back fixed, I am going to quote unquote get that moniker off that I only could play stud. People think I could only play stud. I play all the games. I play hose very well. The other games we don't spread back home. I mean, the Omaha, I don't play Omaha high low. I don't play that well. Short. I play it pretty good ring games.
Right.
Pretty easy game to play. I just always draw for the best hand.
Yeah.
You know, and the pot limit Omaha, I'm not that good at. I don't play those tournaments. You know what I mean?
One of the interesting things about poker is that there used to be a real division between the cash game players and the tournament players.
Right.
And the cash game players were making so much money in the cash games, they didn't play
Exactly.
the tournaments. And they justifiably kind of looked down on the tournament players because
Right.
they knew the tournament players wouldn't really stay alive in the cash games.
Right.
Now the tournaments have so much money, the
Right.
cash game guys have started playing the tournaments.
But
the tournament guys made so much money, they can afford to play the cash games.
But I really think that the cash game players could turn. I see more. In your opinion, do you think that more guys that could just play tournaments make it playing cash, or vice versa? I think it's the other way around.
Oh, absolutely.
No, of
There's no,
I mean,
it's not even an issue.
it's not even close.
No one can argue that.
Yeah, yeah.
The cash game guys, once they decide they want to play tournaments and play a few and think about it,
It's a fairly easy
the
adjustment.
tournament
Right.
guys especially the guys who've just made one big hit,
Right.
they get eaten alive in the cash games.
Yeah.
And we've been staying here at Bellagio this whole month,
Right.
and playing down in the cash games, and there's nothing better than some guy hitting and winning a big tournament and showing up.
I mean, I got knocked out of the Brigada Open. I had pocket kings against ace queen. I'm out. I ended up playing. I'm not going to name the guy. I don't want to embarrass him. Play a guy heads up, 1,500, 3,000. Stud and stud 8 better, and I won 320,000
Right.
in 8 hours. I had to come in third.
That's a good day's work.
I would have had to come in. That was my biggest score ever, by the way,
a good
including
day's work.
tournaments.
Right.
But that was, I mean, I would have to come in third. So justifiably so, when you play the limits that I play, I mean, I don't play 2 and 4 and 15-3, but 4-8, even 6-12, 8-16. I mean, unless it's a main event.
Right.
These $1,000 and $2,000 tournaments. Now the World Series is a different beast.
Right.
And
The
the field
payouts
is so
are
hu- the
huge,
field is
and
so
TV.
huge.
and TV and the bracelet.
Right.
You know, and believe it or not, it's not the bracelet for me, and it's not for me to quote unquote make it like, oh, I've made it. I want a bracelet. It's from my father. I promised it to my father a few years ago, and I really fight for the bracelet to give it to my father.
That's
you know,
great.
he's my best friend, and he's my #1 fan, and I mean, he's got my circuit, my rings.
Right.
You know what I mean? One year I won it. The very next year I won it, and I upgraded him. I said,
He
"Here, you
wants
need
the
an
World
upgrade."
Series bracelet.
Yes, he does.
So.
But
just give Nick your.
The circuit.
No, it's not the
circuit
same,
Rings,
no.
The circuit rings will keep them
For a while.
for now.
For a while.
Yeah.
But at a certain point, you
I,
get
if my back, I predict that if my back, if I can play, I've never had a year. Well, my best year playing poker was before my back got really bad, and I did the same thing I did this year. I didn't play live. I played 9 events that year. I played 4 limit hold'em events. I cashed all 4. I made 3 final tables, and I cashed in the horse.
Right.
And at a 9, 5 out of 9. You know what I mean? And this year I did the same thing. I didn't play live, and I cashed 3 out of like 7 or 8. You know what I mean? And came in second. I can't do both because my games are widely different.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm very aggressive and very, in the live game.
Right.
And not that I'm not aggressive and not dominating in a tournament game, but I've learned that there's no need to do that.
Right.
I mean, they just play so bad. They try to give you their money in a tournament. Sometimes the deck won't let them.
Nick, the thing about you that struck me is that you are made for TV. Because
Yeah.
you're not faking. This is no act.
Yeah, I know.
You've got this big personality.
Yeah.
And you start making final tables on TV, which
Yeah.
you've done, but you make a few more and you win a couple.
Yeah.
I mean,
That's
you could be a superstar.
that's the key of it. Mine gets shown so much, and I asked the ESPN producers, I said, why? And it goes by ratings. And I'm like, because, I'm very talkative. I have a good personality. I mean, early in the tournament, I pretty much put my headphones on.
But you're not doing it
and
for
don't
the
even
camera.
think.
That's
No,
you.
I'm not.
That's
Right,
you.
right. I mean, a lot of people don't know that and don't. But the people that know poker know. You know what I mean?
That's a big thing, because one thing that drives me crazy are guys who are playing for the camera
Yeah.
and adopting this persona
Yeah.
that's totally false.
Yeah.
And I've known you for a while before poker was really big.
Yeah.
And this is you.
This is me.
And,
Right. Right.
this
Oh,
makes
it's
it,
all
this makes it a
now.
lot more fun.
I mean, the only difference is I used to be very cocky, and I'm still confident.
Right.
I'm
Now
still, but now it's more confidence than cockiness, and that comes from age.
It's
You know what
maturity.
I mean?
It's
You're
maturity.
right.
Yeah.
I mean, I came here my first year, and I was probably in one of the worst games you could ever be in, just because. But nobody knew me. I figured I had an advantage. We're playing 1 in 2,000. I would not play that game today. I won 180,000. Well, the next day I check raised everybody from every spot. And the next day, they didn't know my name and say, "Hey, Mr. Check Raise." I mean, they knew me from, they heard stories, but people out here don't respect East Coast players, so they just assumed I couldn't play.
I heard about this guy called Nicky 8-Bets. I don't know
me.
what the story is, but that's a good
That was me. It was actually 12 bets. It's been called 13 bets.
Now with age, it's Nicky 8-Bets.
Right, yeah.
But, it's really good to see, Nick, because you used to be really overweight. Now you're not overweight. You're trying to lose some weight for your back, but you look good. I hope you get your back straightened out. Because,
me too. You
could be a terror if you're in the right physical state.
One thing I know,
that's the thing. I can't travel.
You're going to get that bracelet. Your dad's going to be very excited about it. And
I predict I will get a bracelet. I'm not saying what year, but I don't know if it will be stud or not, but I know I will get other one that's not stud. I need to prove to everybody that I'm not just a stud player.
I'll lay money that you're a favorite to get one in the next few years.
Yeah. I mean, if I could play all the events, there's never been a year where I played all the events.
Right.
Never.
You get your back straight.
I mean, I've played literally, I think it's 40 or 45 events, and I've cashed 11 or 12 and made 4 final tables. So, I mean, my track record speaks for itself.
It's going to be fun to watch, and it's going to be fun to watch you win it. So we're looking forward to it.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Good luck to both of you in the main event. I hope I'm there to sweat you guys in.
All right.
I hope my horses are still in, though, too. But,
exactly.
Hey.
Hey, we appreciate you coming down.
Anytime.
And, it's been fun. Join us tomorrow on The Scoop.